So I'm going to give you guys a little bit of grub. What we're going to start off with is some fresh Granny Green Smith apples. Now, when you're baking with apples, Granny Greens are a perfect complement for baking. They've got a very strong cellulose texture to them. They hold together well through cooking techniques. They're tart, and that tartness, when you cook them, turns the sugars into a nice mellow sweetness. That's why when you use when people bake with apples, they normally use Granny Smith. So we're going to start off with some Granny Smith apples right here. But first, I'm going to make a bit of a pastry for you, or a bit of a crust. So you have your recipe in front of you, right? In here, I've got my concoction. I've got some sugar, I got some flour, I've got some cinnamon, and we're just going to put this into the bottom of a nice big pan right here. This is so simple to make. And now what I want to do is make a bit of a batter with it, right? So I'm going to add a little bit of hot water. And right, yes, this water's hot. Thank you, yeah. Y'all can laugh, it's okay. It's been sitting out here for about half an hour. It's not hot anymore. Yeah, put it on the grill. Put a little smoke on it. A little pecan. Kiss it with a little bit of pecan. That's what we need. We got some fresh squeezed lemon juice right here. We're going to add to it. This is actually concentrated orange juice. You want to use it like from right out of the can, a concentrated orange juice. We're going to add this right here. So we're just going to fold this together. Just incorporate everything together. Am I tasting the Moscato yet? Is it good? Can I get a hell yeah for a Moscato? That's what I'm talking about. Very simply, this is going to be, you just want to put this together to like a little pasty. In here, flour, sugar, cinnamon, orange concentrate, hot water, pasty, batter, right here. Okay? Now, the reason why we add a little bit of the water, and this is going to be kind of, it's kind of thin, two reasons. These apples, Granny Smith's peeled. You can use fresh apples. If at the store you can find an IQF in your freezer section of the Granny Smiths that have already been peeled, all the stuff's been done. IQF means individually quick frozen. Do it. It's worth the time and effort. You're not going to lose any quality after using a fresh, there's a lot of time and effort to do that. And by the way, if you are using fresh apples, by the time that you're peeling them down, you've taken everything off, stick them into a bowl of water with a lot of lemon juice. And that'll stop the oxidation process for happening in your apples turning brown. If you can do the individually quick frozen, do them. It's worth it. I'm sorry? Water and a lot of lemon juice. And in fact, you can even use that lemon juice that you can get from your grocer that is just, you don't have to fresh squeeze it. The stuff, the real lemon or whatever. All you want to do is have that acidity that will stop the oxidation process from happening to the fruit. These right here are the IQF Granny Smiths. It's the same thing. They peel them, they freeze them in about 15 seconds, and then you're done. They still have all the juice in. So you're going to fold the apples in. These are going to release a lot of liquid, right? So if you think this batter right here isn't going to have enough moisture, you're wrong. A lot of stuff's going to seep out of these apples. All right, so we got 5 pounds of apples. We got some walnuts that I'm going to put in here. Recipes there, it's 1½ cups. Also, dried sweet cranberries. And yes, I used craisins. Craisins are really good. And this is what I'm using. It's the exact same thing. It's a dried sweet cranberry. All right. Right here, we're also going to add a little nutmeg. Bam! Bam! Can I get a bam? There you go. So, we're just going to fold this all together. Is it good? What do you think? What do you think of the cobbler? Is it tasty? Is it delicious? Pretty dang good, isn't it? I know. So, here's another thing that I did. If this is when I say we don't take ourselves too seriously around here, I could have spent the last 24 hours cutting butter into some flour, folding it in, being nice and soft with it, and making a real nice buttery croissant-like light pastry shell. Or I could have said, you know what, I need to have another glass of wine and go get myself some store-bought pastry shells. And by the way, they're fabulous. I mean, you can go through and make your own pastry shells. Feel free to do so. 13 by 9 inch pan, very simple. I put a couple of those pastry shells together, kneaded them together, rolled it out. It was very simple to do. We're going to fold our fruit and our pastry mix into our pan. All right, so we got our walnuts, we got our cranberries, we got our apples, we got our cinnamon, we got our nutmeg, we got our flour, we have our sugar. We put it all together with a little bit of lemon juice, a little orange concentrate. We're going to take another one. See, this is all I did, is I put 2 pastry shells together. Oops. Looks like this. Gonna fold it right on top. So I'm basically using the side of the pan as my knife. I don't need any special techniques. I just need a little common sense, and that helps a lot in the kitchen. And you can make it nice and pretty by getting your thumbs and you put them together, and you can just start folding them like this. Pinch it, you pinch it.
Just a little bit.
Pinch it, pinch it. Keep. Well, I thought that was going to be pretty easy, but I was like, what am I going to say while I'm pinching the cobbler? Maybe I could get him to chant, pinch it, but no. There you go. More wine, everybody. More wine. So anyway, you make it pretty nice all the way around the sides, guys. This isn't all that pretty. If I had the time, I would do it. But again, you get the idea. We're just going to we'll put a layer on the bottom. We put the filling in. The filling took all of about 5 minutes to put together. And we're going to take a little bit of sugar, a little bit of cinnamon. We're going to dust the top of this thing. We're going to take the top of this off because I forgot to put the melted butter underneath. That's right. That's right. Just a little for luck. It's supposed to be salt, but it's not. This right here is melted butter. It's supposed to go on the underside of this piece of pastry. So, again, bam, through the magic of television, we have ourselves a layer of this melted butter on the inside of this. By the way, what this is going to do with the moisture from the apples, the little bit of the water that we put there, the apples are actually going to put a lot of moisture out, and we put the butter on top right here. If it was underneath this pastry like it should be, it's actually going to butter and brown the pastry from the inside and give it a really, really nice buttery flavor to it. So instead of putting it on this side when you bake it, you don't want to put, well, some people do that. They'll brush the top side of their pastry or their cobbler or their pie with butter on the top side. You should do it on the bottom side. Once this is nice and sealed around the side, you always want to allow for some release so that you don't steam. This is going to allow the steam to come out and to make the pastry shell crispy and flaky instead of soggy. So, through the magic of television, you'll throw this in your oven, ladies and gentlemen, for the time allotted in your cookbooks. And your dinner is done.